Okay, so to install this device, I installed mine in here. So that's actually where mine is. So I'm kind of going to show you a backtrack of this. So what you need to do is you need to take this off. To take this off, you need to take this off. So this one kind of clips out and you can use a screwdriver. So I'm going to go get my tools and get started with taking this thing off. Okay, that one's off. Gonna take that one out. And now there are some screws over here. You'll see there's a screw there. And if you look closely, there should be a screw here. Another one there, there, and there. So I'm going to take those out now. Right, to remove these screws, this is a T20 Torx. And you can do it just with your fingers. Okay, very important. Make sure to hold so they do not fall out. Because if they drop into the dash, good luck. Again, hold it. Right. Now, screwdriver. What I use is a very long one. Again, make sure to hold the screw so it doesn't fall into the dash. A magnetized screw also helps. Okay, now what you can do is you can pull this air vent out by pressing it through from the back. Got to just depress this steel bracket here, and on this side you've got to just depress this steel bracket, which just gets caught a bit on there. And there we go. That's this unit. You've got to depress there, and you've got to depress there, and you've got to depress there and there, so it doesn't get caught on here. And you just have to unplug this little plug here. I just wedged my nail underneath there to unhook it, and this thing is now out. Okay, you can pull this one out. What I do is I just put some tape on my screwdriver so that I do not scratch the so we release that like that. This nut is a number 8. You just loosen it, then you can do the rest by hand. And actually what I do is I use a magnetized bit so that the nut does not fall in to the dash. Now there's also a washer, so you got to hold the washer as well. Right, so I've got screw and washer. Can leave that in for when I put it back. Right, now we're going to take this out, but you've got to go that way. So what you've got to do is you first got to unhook it like that, and now let's pull the steering wheel out, give it some room. Now we're going to pull it this way and like that. So it was out and side, and this part is now off. Now what you want to do is remove this. This was put here to reduce rattles. Okay. You can remove this if you want to, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to be long here. Right, when you choose your Dension, you'll go to the Dension website, and in my case it was the Gateway 500, and this is what the unit looks like, and this is the connections. Now what's more important in this video is that I want to show you what comes with the Dension. There is the iPod cable, this is the fuse wire, and this is the AUX cable with the service switch. Now that's what I was talking about. When you put it onto the off position, the Dension actually bypasses itself, and then there's a USB cable, and this is the fiber optic ring that allows you to add the Dension into the series ring of the MOS for the BMW. Okay, in terms of how you connect it, just downloaded the installation guide, and it is pretty self-explanatory. Now the thing which I never showed in the video is that there are switches which you'll need to choose. Now in the e65 the array looks like this. Now on the side of the Dension unit you'll see these dip switches. Now for the e65 it's 1 and 2 up and the rest down. These are the things you need to set up, otherwise it won't work correctly. And then the second most important thing to know is how to connect it, in terms of if your CD changer is still going to be part of the ring. And you can see it must be a series circuit. If you see there how it is series. Now in my case I did not have the CD changer anymore, that's why it's left off. So you can also decide you do not have to have the CD changer anymore. That's your choice. Alright, download this. It does explain how to connect up these fiber optic points. It also shows you how to install them. And an important thing to remember is that if you do remove the CD changer, if you take your car to the dealership and they try and do some programming or some updates on your modules, it will come up with an error on their system. So then when you press that service button, as I showed you on that AUX connector, if there's no CD changer, it'll come up as though there's no CD changer. So some service departments don't know how to still program the car if a module or a device is missing. So it can be a bit of a headache. So I've had that happen to me. So when you do take your car to service at the dealer, then you must plug in the CD changer. Then there's no problem. Then you just bypass it. You can remove this if you want to, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to be long here. Right, this is where my Dension was installed. This is where I installed my Dension. Now, the original CD changer had fiber optic connections. This was the original CD changer fiber optic connections going into the unit. So what the Dension does, it's a series connection. So now the CD changer connects directly to the Dension, and the Dension actually tells you which side it must be connected. So it comes in and it goes back out, and this is if you want to connect the CD changer back in. But I just left my CD changer out, I no longer use it. You see, the Dension has an option. There's a service switch, and it can disconnect the Dension and put the CD changer back on as though it's how it was. And the reason for that is when you do the coding or updating of the MOS unit, this picks up an error if it's connected. So that is why there is a service switch, which is I've wired in my dash. I will show you now, which then disconnects the Dension, and if the CD changer was still wired here, this would be the CD changer, and then it would the Dension bypasses itself when you put it in service mode. Okay, so how I wired my Dension. This is the USB. I've actually put a, let me take this off. I've actually put a hard drive. There you can see it. It's a Transcend hard drive, USB 3. It's a 250 gig hard drive, formatted in, I think it has to be FAT32. So that's the trick, is that you need to format the hard drive correctly. And the hard drive is powered directly from the Dension, from the USB, and the Dension gets its power. I just connected it straight to the power of the original CD changer, which has its own power. As you can see, I've wired it to the CD changer original power, and there's the fuse that comes with the Dension. The aux cable and service cable I have wired into the cubby hole. Now if you look, you'll see it's in there. Let's see if you can see it. There it is. So there's your aux, and the service button is there at the bottom, and to reset the unit, which I've done several times there. And then if you look there, you'll see my wire goes through there and comes out the other side. And that is how I have connected my Dension to my BMW. I did need to code the car as well. I may do a video explaining how to code this. Okay, this is the menu of the Dension once it's working. The car thinks it's the CD changer, that's why it's coming up as CD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So CD 1 and 2 and 3, they represent something. So CD 2, I think, is all the artists listed. Now I have thousands, so there's no point going through this. There's just too many to go through. It'd take hours. So you could go CD3, which is, I think, the albums, but again, this would also be a waste of time. And then CD4, I think, is the songs, but where I live is CD5. And in CD5 you will find the option of files, and here I've created files. So I just come here and look for files. See, I've got house and rock, but within each one of these files I have a lot of folders. For example, so just Candlemass, you'll see I have all the Candlemass albums. So I have more than 100 gigs of music within these files. So I just navigate my Dension through the file system, and I know where the music is, and that's it. So that's my Dension all set up and working. You can search by artist, album or song. So you can say artist. Look, I notice when I have more than about 20 gigs, it has slowed down quite a bit. And I'm currently, I think I've got 160 gigs. So say you want to search for L, then all the artists with starting with L will come up. And that's it. And the name of the songs also comes up, which is quite nice.